Time now, na 8 o'clock for morning.
Your money for Intra don't be secure. Subscribe for your orange bonus bundle for #111*1# or go for Max Eat and try for win million them.
Orange is here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 8 a.m. bilingual newscast on Royal FM. Good morning, Glory Ngange.
Bonjour, Florent Ngoyam, les titres du journal.
Soyez des ambassadeurs de la paix pour que le Cameroun retrouve son calme. Au lendemain de l'élection présidentielle du 12 octobre dernier, la recommandation est du président de l'Assemblée nationale lors de la plénière de clôture de la session parlementaire hier de l'année législative 2025.
Persons living with impairments are on the spotlight today, December 3, as the international community celebrates the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, with focus on promoting their rights and well-being in all spheres. These stories and more shall be yours in a moment.
Une fois de plus, bonjour et merci de faire confiance à Royal FM pour vous informer de la politique pour ouvrir cette session d'information bilingue. Élection du 30 novembre dernier des conseillers régionaux, c'est le temps de la publication des résultats. Dans la région du centre, les listes des élus pour la deuxième mandature sont attendues ce mercredi dès 11h dans la salle d'apparat de la cour d'appel du centre. Et du côté de la Damawa, hier, c'est le RDPC qui a remporté 36 des 70 sièges des délégués de département contre 34 pour l'Union nationale pour la démocratie et le progrès UNDP. Cet projet de loi adopté au cours de la dernière session ordinaire de l'année législative 2025 au Parlement. Les plénières de clôture ont eu lieu hier à l'Assemblée nationale et au Sénat à la salle des banquets du Palais des Verts Paul Biya. Au cours de son mot de clôture, le président de l'Assemblée nationale, Kavayege Djibril, a appelé les députés à être des ambassadeurs de la paix pour que le Cameroun retrouve son calme au lendemain de la présidentielle d'octobre dernier. Nous l'écoutons au micro de nos confrères du poste national.
Une session historique au cours de laquelle vos élus ont eu à examiner et à voter ce projet de loi, dont celui portant budget de l'État pour l'exercice 2026. Ce budget s'équilibre en recettes et en dépenses à la somme de 8 milliards 116,4 milliards de francs CFA. Je voudrais saisir l'occasion que m'offre cette tribune pour examiner mes sentiments personnels de profonde gratitude, gratitude à l'ensemble de vos collègues députés.
Et du côté du Sénat, le vice-président Aboubakari Abdoulaye a exhorté les membres du gouvernement à renforcer la discipline budgétaire après l'adoption du projet de loi de finances 2026. Ce 3 décembre est journée mondiale de lutte contre le handicap. L'objectif ici est de promouvoir la pleine participation des personnes handicapées dans tous les aspects de la société, à sensibiliser aux problèmes liés au handicap et à défendre leurs droits. Cette journée est une initiative des Nations Unies mise en place depuis 1992. Et sans transition, les nouvelles hors de nos frontières, Mali, le GENIM diffuse une vidéo de 2 journalistes de la télévision nationale ORTM, enlevés le 14 octobre. Il s'agit de Daouda Konaté, directeur du média, et de Salif Sangaré, son caméraman, qui ont été enlevés alors qu'ils circulaient dans le centre-ville du pays. La diffusion de cette vidéo le 1er décembre par les djihadistes a choqué leurs proches, mais jusqu'alors, ni les autorités de la transition, ni l'ORTM, ni même les organisations des journalistes n'ont communiqué officiellement sur cet événement. Et puis sport, le Cameroun va prendre part au championnat international de judo des moins de 21 ans de la francophonie. Le tournoi va se dérouler à Kinshasa, en République démocratique du Congo. Ce sera du 5 au 6 décembre 2025. La suite du journal.
Welcome back. Cameroon today, December the 3rd, joins other nations worldwide to celebrate the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Marking the 34th edition, the event aims to promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities in all societies. This year's edition is celebrated under the theme Fostering Disability-Inclusive Societies for Advancing Social Progress. To that effect, the Ministry of Social Affairs has organized a ceremony to take place at the Military Headquarters Brigade starting as from 8 a.m. today. The event will focus on the country's commitment to empower persons with disabilities and promote a more inclusive society. The National Anti-Corruption Commission, CONAC, in collaboration with the World Bank, will, as from today, begin holding workshops, this to intensify the fight against corruption in the country. According to CONAC's top management, the workshops aims to evaluate the implementation of the 2025 anti-corruption plan and to develop strategies for next year. This first phase of workshops, slated for December the 2nd to December the 4th, will hold in Yaoundé, Douala, and Eboloa, focusing on state officials, traditional authorities, and the civil society. The third ordinary session of Parliament for the 2025 legislative year has concluded at both houses, with the people's representatives and government officials renewing commitments to champion peace in their various constituencies. The two separate closing ceremonies began earlier yesterday at the National Assembly, presided over by House Speaker Honorable Kavai Yegejibir, and later at the Senate under the coordination of the Senior Vice President, Senator Abu Bakari Abdullahi. Before yesterday's event, the 2025 Finance Bill, which includes the state budget of 8,816.4 billion CFA francs, was adopted by the Senate. Meantime, the gap between Cameroon's public wage bill and its gross domestic product is a pressing concern following the presentation of the 2026 bill before the National Assembly. Despite efforts to renationalize recruitment and control spending, the wage bill is expected to rise up to 1.8 trillion CFA francs by 2027. Just what could possibly explain such incoherence, Jeffrey Thatcham spoke to an economist and now reports.
Days after the presentation of the 2026 budget, economists are pointing out a certain number of factors that could explain the gap existing between Cameroon's public wage bill and its inconsistent gross domestic product. Jamo Haiwang, research analyst and a national coordinator at the Cameroon Economic Policy Institute.
Even though the government talks about rationalizing recruitment, the wage bill continues to rise because of recurrent salary adjustment, the payment of arrears, and increases in various allowances, which mechanically raise the cost of a civil servant. Second, Cameroon still carries the legacy of a decade of massive recruitment.
In spite of efforts by the government to address wage bill leakages, no significant result has been recorded so far, as economist Henry Kwam explains.
The government's wage bill has been increasing consistently over the last 5 or 6 budgets. Since 2023, in fact, the public wage bill has been increasing. Even though the government has taken several initiatives to prevent wage bill leakages, none of that has yielded significant results. This year, 10,000 people were let go of the government because those were fictitious employments, and those were draining up $1 billion away from the government.
Therefore, what solution should Cameroon consider to step out of this situation? For starters, reducing the size of the government and digitize the delivery of public service could be a way forward.
The government has to digitize the delivery of public services and cut its size. The size of some ministries can be cut by up to 20 to 30%. The public service is bloated. The people working there, very few of them have an incentive to actually do a very good job because they earn a salary and they are unaccountable. We need to ensure that every single ministry is increasingly accountable. We need to cut their sizes by 20 to 30%, digitize the delivery of public services so that we don't need as many people there and people can go into much more productive sectors in the private sector.
Over the last 5 to 6 financial years, Cameroon's public wage bill has been on the rise persistently, and since the start of 2025, about 10,000 fictitious civil servants were laid off from the state's payroll, draining billions from the public treasury.
In politics, results of the recently organized regional councillors' elections continue to be published. In the Adamawa regions, reports reveal that the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement Party, the CPDM, is leading with 36%. Same with the North region, whose results were made public yesterday. The results of the Central region is awaited today. Out of Cameroon, in Algeria, the appeal trial of French sports journalist Christophe Glaise is scheduled to hold this Wednesday, December 3, in Tizi Ouzou. The media practitioner working for Soap Press magazine group has been in detention since May 2024, and in a first instance trial he was sentenced to 7 years in prison last June. His arrest came after a report on Jeunesse Sportive de Kabylie, one of the most popular football clubs in Algeria. And in sports, with just few days before the AFCON 2025, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has announced that qualified teams will present squads of maximum 28 players each for this competition. The number of players increases from 23 allowed in the previous edition in Côte d'Ivoire, and according to CAF, the increase will help teams manage health concerns. However, out of the 28 players, only 23 will be covered by the African Football Governing Body. This brings us to the end of the news. We received technical assistance from Salomon Esana, who is our sound engineer. Alain Kwekam is behind the camera, script editing, and Kubite Priscilla and Abel Bella Samari. Editorial coaching, Abel Bella Samari. Coordination from the station's manager, Roger Kiek. General supervision from the Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Nel. For news presentation, we have been Glory Ngange and
Flo Rangoya. Merci très chers auditeurs pour votre aimable attention. Glory Ngange, on se donne rendez-vous demain sur la radio pour une nouvelle sortie, n'est-ce pas, du journal bilingue du 8h. Pour la suite des programmes, on accueille Biz Rock. Bonjour Biz Rock.
Elle s'appelle Flora. Eh bien ouais, c'est la voix de la bande FM.
Comment on va ce matin?
Très bien sûr.